Skyward System. Ist mal gesehen als so.
And here we are. The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword HD on Nintendo Switch. So this is going to be a quick 40-minute sneak preview. Nintendo has thankfully allowed us to play 40 minutes on stream here, ahead of its release on Friday. So we are going to have a hard cutoff, that's why we've got a counter on screen. But we are going to get as much time into this game as we can. Yes, so the review of that was done by Neil Ronaghan. He was actually the one who reviewed Skyward Sword back on the Wii 10 years ago. So that was pretty cool. Sneak preview, so we're going through the tutorial. So we're not starting from the very beginning. I was very aware that that was probably going to be the case. So I did play through the first little bit of the game. And the autosave, which by the way, this game has autosaves now, is going to start with the exact moment that we first land on the surface. So, we have skipped the beginning Skyloft portion so we can get into the real meat of the game. So, 40 minutes we're going to be going. Obviously, I've played a little bit of the beginning, and I know Neil and John, who both have been playing a lot more of the game, have been very positive about the remaster overall. And, of course, both of them spoiling the game early for people. Well, that is kind of the nature of streaming, but so we're going to take a look here, and we're gonna see what we can see. So, let's begin. So, right from the beginning. Alright, so I don't know, so, obviously, the cutscenes would probably be the best time to, like, see the cool graphics and everything that come with the HD version, but also cutscenes are going to be eating up a lot of our time, so I don't know if you guys want me to skip cutscenes or, like, actually go through them. Master, please make sure to use your sailcloth when descending from high elevations. Failing to do so has a high probability of resulting in injury. Does the motion feel accurate? I have not actually tried the motion myself, so I have button controls on right now, because I personally think the Joy-Con is the worst controller Nintendo's ever made. But, if you like, I can grab my Joy-Cons out of my Switch right now and we'll try them out. I feel like the button controls are what I'm most interested in here. And the button controls, I would say so far, are pretty good. Guess you're glad you don't own a Switch. Well, you could get that new OLED model. Yeah, Joy-Cons are the worst. Yeah, I hate the Joy-Cons. I'm gonna skip this cutscene. This is just like a big tutorial cutscene. So, the controller the sword is entirely controlled with the right analog stick. So you press it in to do a quick stab, which is probably gonna be the main way that you're gonna take out easy enemies. And then you can just flick it to do directions. Did they fix the Joy-Cons with the OLED model? The OLED model is going to have the exact same Joy-Cons, no changes. My copy of this remaster comes out playing Pro Controller. Yeah, that is definitely... these guys are, like, a lot easier when you can just stab them very easily. So I feel like a lot of the game's, like, actual directional stuff. Interested to see if this is improved. Well, it looks a lot prettier. This is our first 3D Zelda game ever running in 60 FPS. Which I consider a pretty big deal. I am going to mostly skip cutscenes, like, I think that's the decision I'm making, because we only have 40 minutes that we're allowed to do. So I'm gonna, like, show a little bit of each cutscene, just so we can, like, see the cool graphics. But we'll mostly be skipping them for now, so that we can get into the real meat of things. But of course, skipping cutscenes means, I don't know what to do. I don't remember what to do. So, I think we have to go down. Oh, by the way, there is now full, camera control. So, on the Joy-Cons, since you don't need the right analog stick, you can just use it there. And on the Pro Controller, you hold L and then move the camera around. So, I think we're supposed to go down there. It says the button controls make the game easier. I'm gonna say that the stab definitely makes that seem the case. But I think the controls work pretty well. You just kind of need to flick in a direction, and then that's the direction that the sword's gonna go in. So it wants us to Skyward Strike. But, of course, thank you everyone for coming. I know seeing the brand new video game is a big appeal of right now, but make sure you stick around after when Joe continues into Layton's mystery journey, because that's Joe kind of like has a history in streaming mystery games and stuff like that. That's why his Twitch handle is Detective Dobaga. So thank God we don't have to deal with that boss. Not tonight. Okay, we have to douse. So there is of course gyro controls for aiming, which I think every game should have. So we need to, yeah, pretty much just follow the story right now. I keep trying to instinctively, because it just, like, the stamina wheel and the controls are so reminiscent of Breath of the Wild. There's actually a glitch in Breath of the Wild that you can use for, like, infinite sprinting. Okay, that's not the way. Which is actually a really easy one. You just hold down on the D-pad and then just mash B. And I keep, like, instinctively trying to do that, and it accidentally calls Phi instead. right next to your 10 FPS emulator. Yeah, 60 FPS is definitely a big improvement on that. So, I believe, yeah, and this is going to be a cutscene. So this is where we meet Impa. Looks like it handles so much faster. So the frame rate is probably a big part of like why it feels that, but yeah, everything is tightened up just a little bit. Full camera controls definitely nice. The gyro controls feel really good. They pull a 3D world and speed up the running. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone say that. When regular HD, Twilight Princess HD port get a similar FPS boost. I would hope so. But I mean, when it comes to frame rate boosts, God knows, there could be any number of things, like, even if just the interface mostly. Yeah, everything feels a bit smoother. Oh, right, it wants me to do a beacon. Right here. Sure. So like I said, since we only have 40 minutes that we're allowed to play, we're going to skip through the cutscenes. Okay. It will kind of lead to me not totally knowing where to go, but that's okay. People massively understated how much this game got upgraded. Yeah, and actually, so, in addition to our main review on our YouTube, John Raridan also did a technical comparison for how the graphics work, and specifically how the watercolor filter for things in the distance works, so that he compares it to the Wii version, so that we can see exactly what's going on. And of course, just like a lot of the quality of life upgrades, it's just all generally better. So let's see if we can beat these guys all with the stab. No, so we are going to have to actually pay attention to directions here, which honestly feels pretty good. It takes a little. It's gonna have a little bit of a learning curve, I think, but I feel like in the end, the right analog stick is actually going to get a faster way to input than the motion controls using stick controls. Yes, and so the way that the stick controls work is that when you flick the control stick, the direction that you're flicking the stick is the direction that the sword is going to move. So if you want to do a diagonal sword slash, you don't have to do the entire sword slash. You just need to flick in like the second half zone of where you want it to go. So once we're out of this cutscene, I'll show you like a diagonal slash. The game also has autosave now, by the way, for those who weren't here at the beginning. So I'll just flick like that. So it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve, I think, but my belief is that in the end it's going to be faster. She just said something about amiibo. You charge just by holding it up for the Skyward strike? Yes. So if you hold the stick, then that controls the direction that Link is like holding the sword. And then for a spin attack, you go quickly left and right, which I swear to God is easier when I'm holding the controller correctly. But so, there. Is it true that they got rid of the rupee value reminders? I believe so, but I'm not far enough in. So, just as a reminder, I personally tell you everything you know about a blue rupee. So just as a reminder, I personally did not review this game. Neil Ronahan did, and I'm effectively playing his copy right now. But from what I have heard, yes, the game does not remind you every time each rupee value on boot. So that should be a lot smoother. So basically everything with motion controls was mapped to the right stick. Well, here's everything you wanted to know about a blue rupee. I can confirm, I'm pretty sure this is the first blue rupee I've gotten in the entire game, so. And then access your pouch with R, and then you can just, I don't really have anything to do with the pouch, just figured I'd show that. What sort of controller dongles are required for this game to function? None at all. This is just a regular Pro Controller. Okay. When I was looking at the camera and not the game, I didn't realize I hit the L button, and now that red potion's gone. That's, we call that the stream tax. Yeah, that wasn't the game, that was just me. I literally did not realize that as I was holding up the controller, I was hitting the L button. So, but that's how quick it is to drink a potion, in case you were wondering. So, and then if you want to roll, it's press in the left stick. Speedrun any potion percent. So, I did always kind of think it was interesting how the game was set up where the overworld areas before you go into the dungeons were kind of almost dungeons in and of themselves. Oh jeez, if I was paying more attention, then I'd actually know what I'm supposed to do. Redundant rupee and treasure explanation problem is that every time you save and quit, you come back, get those explanations again. Yes. I'm sorry. I don't know if that was a question being asked, but yes, Dr. Dead is correct. That is how it worked in the original game. And in the HD version for Switch, they have changed that. So that it does not remind you every single time. Okay, I gotta find... where... Okay, so I think this is the Zelda dousing. So, the Dekubabas here, pretty much just stabbing them seems like it worked. But the Bokoblins were a little more complicated. Also, you still kind of don't want to get hit. Oh, maybe he dodges... Oh, he dodges stabs more often than he dodges regular swings. Comment regarding dungeons on the way to dungeons. Spiritual successors to the Oracle games. I've never really thought about that. That does kind of make sense. So, apologies for just skipping all the dialogue and everything. Like I said, with since we're on a time limit, I do want to get the most out of our playtime. So, we'll use dousing to try to find more of these guys. Yeah. Okay. In 2011, Neil mailed me his copy of the Wii disc to Second Opinion Review because my daughter was said to be born within days of the stated release date. Wow. That's crazy. Forget what to do about that thing. Neil's kind of in a long history of playing Neil's copy of this game. Yes, pretty much. Jeez. Okay, let's see. Where can we find more of these guys? I think that one's just pointing back to one we already found. Hopefully, in my haste to try and make progress quickly, I am not just making everything take longer because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I'm really excited that this is the first 3D Zelda ever to run in 60 frames per second. Like, that's really cool. Okay, so... So, I wonder if the Bokoblin blocking has kind of been sped up because it's easier to do directional slashes with the stick. So I wonder if it's been rebalanced to account for that. Or maybe I'm just not... Maybe I just haven't, like, muscle memoried everything yet. Better than Link's Awakening Remake. As far as frame rate goes, absolutely. Since Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes are at 60. Yeah, I care about frame rate a lot. I really want more games to like, really hit that 60. Try to climb everything and wonder why there's no voice acting. Voice acting would not have been the worst thing to add, I think. Although, I don't think that the game is, like, worse for not having it. Because, like, it was made without it in the first place, and I think it worked fine then. I don't hate that Breath of the Wild had voice acting. So I think... I don't think Link should ever talk, because it's just kind of one of Link's character traits now that he doesn't have dialogue. But it's like, that's not a voice acting thing. He shouldn't even have text dialogue. Where's Zelda? Argument can be made that the reaction to this game led to the series being completely reinvented one iteration later. I don't know if it's the reaction to this game so much as it is just they felt that the series needed to be reinvented in any way, because I kind of got the impression that Twilight Princess was a game that they felt they didn't get a lot of creative challenges out of. And Skyward Sword was a reinvention of the way that you interact with the game to sort of make up for that. And then a lot of what goes into Skyward Sword you can see in Breath of the Wild. Okay, I definitely like this better. This is definitely better than motion control balances. Okay. Oh, shit. Maybe in the minority, honestly wish frame rate got priorities over graphical areas more often. Yeah, so the PS5 is interesting in that it lets you, at a system level, choose, like, when a game has graphics options versus performance options, at a system level you can choose performance, and I 100% did that. Oh god, chat's moving real quick. Definitely heard comments how they made it open world, partly because Skyward Sword had lost many areas. Monolith also helps with Skyward Sword originally. Breath of the Wild feels like a polar opposite of this game. I'm using tilt controls. Teaser trailer. Breath of the Wild 2. Skyward Sword, what to expect. Okay. Okay, so to finish my thought on performance mode. I hope beyond hope that most people in games... Oh, so here, that's where Fi would have forcibly... given you advice there, and instead the sword lit up for Fi to say, hey, I have advice. But it's optional to take that advice, which is great. That's a huge improvement. I don't have to press the button to take that advice. But I hope a lot of third-party developers are including those options of performance mode versus graphics mode, and I hope what they're getting out of that is data that says most people prefer performance modes. PAL Dreamcast versus GameCube. All that is true. That is for, like, that was more because of just a matter of what's the word I'm looking for? How frame rate worked then. Once you adjust your eyes to 60 FPS, it's hard to go back. It really is. I recommend, for your own good, no one go look at, how should I say this? Hypothetical videos on YouTube of an imaginary version of Breath of the Wild that runs in 60 frames per second. How's this supposed to work? Oh, that's how it's supposed to work. It works weird, but I get this. Okay. Got it. Are those videos running off of, like, magic or something? I shouldn't say, but you can find videos of Breath of the Wild running in 60 FPS, and I don't recommend looking at them because you'll never be able to play Breath of the Wild again. Okay, I don't have the beetle yet. I'm supposed to get the beetle here, I think, right? Okay. But yeah, I want a world where frame rate is prioritized above everything else. Yeah, Aonuma has commented on how how they got a lot of the ideas for Breath of the Wild started with Skyward Sword. And actually, there's a YouTuber named Nerl, Nerrel. I like him a lot, and he has a video that is essentially a dual review of Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, talking about how it's very interesting how the games are polar opposite in some ways, and there's a clear point A to point B between them in another way. I think it's a really good video, and that'll show you more about what about like how these games are kind of more similar than you think, while also kind of clearly being completely different. Those attempts to try to simulate 60 FPS don't do it right most of the time. I 100% agree. Motion interpolation is the technical term for that, where it's not natively running at 60 FPS, but they use like AI upscaling to add frames in between, and they don't always do a very good job. I hate that. I'm being coy because on this stream that Nintendo has graciously allowed us to do, I should not give full details of what I mean when I say hypothetical versions on YouTube. It's one of those things where if you know, you know. But unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to say more. But what I'm talking about is not motion interpolation. Same AI that allows people to show off Nintendo games in 4K. Yeah, Nerrel's videos on motion control are so good. All of Nerrel's videos are fantastic. Basically, the only thing I've ever disagreed with Nerrel on is the rain in Breath of the Wild, and he doesn't like Hollow Knight. And, like, everything, all of his videos are great. He even has, like, videos about Star Wars that are, like, my opinions exactly on how, like, generally being positive towards Last Jedi and being really angry with Rise of Skywalker, not just for what it is for Star Wars, but also just how the film industry is kind of in a really unfortunate place in general. So, and he is doing an HD texture pack for some N64 video game about rewinding time and stuff. And he actually has another video that's about a half-hour long where he does a tutorial going through his process and how he, as an artist, makes the textures. And that is just a fascinating video to watch, just to, like, watch someone talk about their craft. So, just like every video he makes is gold. Yeah, save point. Okay, I should probably douse. I thought you got the beetle here somewhere, but he's that way. Okay, so I shouldn't be here. I think Rise of Skyward is bad, but also feel like the hating on it is boring and not worth getting worked up about. Star Wars is just in such a bad place with discourse, honestly. Just Star Wars discourse just feels so bad. But Nerrel's video, he talks a lot about the movie, obviously, but that's the wrong button. I still get the buttons on the Switch mixed up. I thought I was hitting the A button, I was hitting the B button. The thing about Rise of Skywalker for me, and Nerrel's video, is that he does spend time, like, talking about the film, and, like, critiquing it as a film. Then he goes on to explain, like, why movies are kind of the way that they are now. With Disney having taken up so much of the market, and comments from like George Lucas and Spielberg about just how hard it is to like get creative, serious movies in theaters nowadays. So, just the film industry as a whole is about catering to nostalgia and not taking risks on creative ideas. And how the heck am I supposed to get you up? Oh, just lock on to him and talk to him. Okay. Okay, where is this? Next one's over there. Okay. Let's see if we can even get in the dungeon before our time is up. Catering nostalgia, not taking risks was The Force Awakens in a nutshell. It super was! In retrospect, I'm not a big fan of Force Awakens. I respect it as like a, hey, we're gonna have a return to form for Star Wars to set up this trilogy. And I like it a lot less now that I realize that setup wasn't going anywhere. But I'll leave that at that for now. I don't think you guys came to a Zelda stream to hear my thoughts on Star Wars. So, I think I'm supposed to be back up there. And I will say, I think Last Jedi deserves more complicated discussions than it gets. I don't think that movie is either wholly good or bad. I think that movie has a lot of really good stuff and a lot of really bad stuff simultaneously. And I'll leave that at that. Because I think we're all kind of tired of Star Wars discourse. Okay. I think, yeah, this is the last one. We might get into the dungeon. Okay, so I don't mind Fi popping up to remind me that, hey, you just found the last one. That's a good Fi. That's a good Fi. Man, this feels... I know we come back here later with the bombs. This feels a little Metroidvania, almost. I've never really thought to quantify Skyward Sword's overworld areas like that. But it feels a little Metroidvania. It's obviously not. This game is obviously extremely linear. But it's just funny to think of it that way. Voice kind of sounds a lot like Arlo. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I've never really... I'm not sure how. Not to, like, take that negatively or positively. Just kind of like a neutral thing. But that's very interesting. I've never heard someone say that before. Which Skyward Sword's Metroidvania-ish elements is something which Breath of the Wild... yeah, I feel like part of Skyward Sword's strengths is that they didn't streamline the tier collecting in this game. Is that the stealth section? I remember thinking that people that didn't like the stealth section are cowards. Oh yeah, I've just never heard anyone like say that about like comparing me and Arlo before. It's just something to think about. So I think part of Breath of the Wild's strength is that it gives you all of the tools you're going to need for the entire game right up front. And then it builds the entire game around the assumption that you already have all those tools. I think that is part of what makes the exploration so great, because it truly does mean you can go anywhere at any time. And while I think it is cool to have like a sort of Metroidvania feel in Zelda, I don't think it works in that one. You're 100% a coward. Well, as long as we're all ready to admit it. Okay, so gyro controls are great. If you don't use them, you're also a coward. I noticed I noticed this a lot in games that were originally 30 FPS and then upscaled to 60 in a re-release. That animation was still in 30 FPS. That is something I notice a lot. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes. I gotta remember where to go. It would probably be easier to figure out where I need to go if I wasn't skipping all the dialogue, but that's not important. We've got dousing to tell us where to go. And dousing is telling me to go this way. Is the 40-minute limit set by Nintendo? Yes. So normally we are not allowed to stream games that have not been released yet. But Nintendo has given us permission to stream 40 minutes of Skyward Sword. So, and then on Friday, we're going, obviously the game will be out then, there will be no restrictions, so we're going to be streaming more of the game on Friday, but for now, we're just gonna have to play by the rules, and we only have these 40 minutes. But it looks like we are gonna get the very first part of the dungeon, at least. And I think, by the way, graphically, this game looks beautiful. Like, I've always thought this game looks great, and I was worried about the HD version, because it was kind of designed to look good in standard definition. That's my boy. It was designed to look good in standard definition on an HD TV, which is a weird thing. But I think they nailed it, and I was worried about the HD version, and I think the HD version still looks pretty good. Balance, Link Between Worlds struck, where you have access to all the items, but you have to choose which ones you buy and rent first. So my feelings on Link Between Worlds is that it was kind of a, oh, I thought this was going to be the dungeon. I'm an idiot. So I kind of feel like Link Between Worlds is almost a prototype for Breath of the Wild, in a way that I don't like the items being purchasable as much, because the act of buying the items is not super interesting in itself. I definitely need to like actually get used to using the right stick. There is definitely a learning curve to this, but I feel like I'm gonna like it a lot once I get the hang of it. Figuring out like how hard I really need to press it. Okay, don't like where this is going. Yeah, my issue with Link Between Worlds is just like purchasing items isn't as interesting as finding them. Small test out, you know the area. Oh, fuck. I wasn't looking at the screen. Intimidating power. Right. Okay, what will the next 3D Zelda look like? I hope it looks pretty. I hope they don't go for photorealism. That's really the only... My god, are you serious? What do I do? Do I just sit... I forget. Do I just sit here and tank this? You guys want to go away? Yeah, they go away after a while. Okay. Concept from a mechanical standpoint. Yeah, I think it would be more interesting if there were... I think it would be better if there were more interesting ways to... Oh, fuck. I think it'd be better if there were more interesting ways to get the items. I think it was the foundation for Breath of the Wild in a lot of ways, so I respect what the game did. Yeah, nerd. That's what you get. Having full camera control really does help me get like a better idea of my balance there. And you can find the items in any order, but you still have to go out and find them. Yeah, that would definitely lean more towards the Metroidvania side of things, conceptually. And I think that'd be a cool idea for a Zelda game to follow. I don't think every Zelda game needs to play exactly like the last. I think it's okay to reinvent the franchise in big ways. Which is why I appreciate the way that Skyward Sword reinvented the franchise. I appreciate the way that Breath of the Wild reinvented the franchise. And that's kind of why Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are kind of weaker Zelda games for me, because they just kind of feel like direct follow-ups on Ocarina of Time. And Ocarina of Time was already kind of a remake of Link to the Past, in a way. Which was great, because it was the first ever 3D Zelda game. So that was a substantial enough difference that it didn't really matter that it was kind of the same game as Link to the Past. And then, of course, Majora's Mask was like its entire own thing. But then Wind Waker, despite the Great Sea, was the Link to the Past model again. And then Twilight Princess was the Link to the Past model again. And then Skyward Sword was still that model, but changed it up enough that I felt like it was more interesting. I don't really think that the sailing was that innovative and unique in Wind Waker. I think it's just a different flavor of Hyrule Field. Like if in your head you just go, the Great Sea is Hyrule Field, then you kind of realize Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time are more or less the same. Okay, so these things do definitely dodge stabs a lot, which is something that I didn't notice on the Wii, because the stab was a lot harder to do. Interesting. The treasure hunting was a good thing to do with sailing. But that's kind of what I say, where it's like, I don't think it really made a substantial difference for the game's structure. Having the lead up to the dungeons in Skyward Sword be almost kind of a miniature dungeon like this is much more of a substantial difference. And that's something that I like a lot. Okay, we're gonna like literally see the inside of the dungeon. Oh, god damn it. Sailing had a fun atmosphere to it. It did. I don't know, it's just I feel like sailing is a really hard balance to strike in video games. I don't even know that I would say I dislike sailing in video games, because I really like Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed 4 was, like, really fun. And I don't know why I like Assassin's Creed 4, but I don't like sailing in Wind Waker as much. I really just don't have an answer for that. Gotta excuse his favorite mechanics. I admit I don't remember how the goddess cubes pan out very well. What am I supposed to be doing? Why can I not? What am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to just walk up and press A? Am I an idiot? I haven't played Skyward Sword since it was new. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it has been 10 years since I played Skyward Sword. So, I definitely don't remember a lot. Or the overworld for them, they unlock a chest in the sky, and then you explore for the reward. That is, okay, that is kind of cool. Okay. So we're seeing the very beginning of the dungeon. I guess I'll save. I don't know why. Because this game auto-saves. I shouldn't have wasted time on a save. So the chests are pretty great things, too. What? Okay. Yeah, I've forgotten so much of this game's gameplay loop. Like, I remember the Silent Realms, the stealth section, but I don't actually remember what their context is in the story. I don't remember why the Silent Realms are there. And I'm kind of really excited to rediscover that. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Okay, so the lights have rupees when you hit them there. Can I hit that with my slingshot? No. Alright, so let's head up this way. Okay, I was kind of hoping that wouldn't happen, but Silence give you a new item at the end. That's cool. Okay, I'm bad at video games. There we go. Yeah, we're low on time. So... I remember this eyeball, dude. You gotta do this. Just like Super Mario 64. Okay, I don't like these explodey guys. Ammo. Ammo's always good to have. Come on, we're burning daylight here. Let's kill this guy. Then... 30 seconds. What can we do in 30 seconds? Come on. We can get through this spider web and kill this spider. I hope. Oh god, I don't know. Oh, come on. Come on. Ah. Alright. Unfortunately, our time is up. So, we're gonna have to save all of that for when we return to the game on Friday. So, like I said, we are going to be playing more of the game on Friday. So, but that is our sneak peek for the day, our 40 minutes. I'm gonna text Joe because he's gonna take over now with more of his Layton's Mystery Journey. But so the game feels good. I really like how it plays on a controller. So I would say that as far as that goes, the remaster is definitely a success. It looks beautiful, and it is great to have a 3D Zelda running at 60 frames per second. I'm really excited to play more of this on Friday. So so far everything has just been great. And since I haven't played Skyward Sword in 10 years, since it was new, it's just kind of really exciting to rediscover it. And I don't know if anyone has any questions, I can try to answer those. Like I said, I didn't do the review myself, so you've seen all of my playing of it. But the game feels good. I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah. I don't know if there's anything that I can try to answer that anyone wants to know. I did also speed through the beginning portion of the game, which Neil says definitely feels faster, but I don't remember the original version well enough to say if that's true or not. Any questions I have will be in that review. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we've got our review over at NintendoWorldReport.com or on our YouTube channel, Nintendo World Report TV. John also put up a comparison video, comparing, of course, to the Wii version, where he goes over the technical changes, and a general graphics comparison as well. So that's a really good video. I watched that one too, and John knows what he's talking about too. He uses fancy words like anti-aliasing and ambient occlusion and stuff that I would not know how to explain. So he's very good at explaining that and showing, not only explaining it, but showing like visual examples of what actually it is, so that like you'll actually know what he's talking about. So that's a really good video too. And then if you want to see more of Skyward Sword HD, then we will be playing it on Friday at around 6:37 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, twitch.tv/Nintendo World Report. I'll be playing more of it. So I am going to throw this over to Joe, as he is going to be continuing his adventures in Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel Layton and the Billionaire's Mystery, I think is the name of that video game. So everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you had a good time. I hope you show up on Friday, and I hope you stick around for more video game action from Detective Dobaga himself right here for the rest of the night. So thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you have a good night.